Oh no. Am I back? I think we're back. I think so? I think I'm alive again. Like, all of my internet cut out. Like, I couldn't even use the Wi-Fi on my phone to try and send that message to you guys. The whole network cut out.
You made it.
Hey, Boogie. Did you have fun?
No, but you made it.
Can you do me a favor really quick and
Yeah.
just peek and see if the light's blue on the modem? I mean, it seems like I'm back, but I cut out completely. Hey, Booger. Hey, go back to Mama. You're not done. Okay, it seems like we're back. Just in time to make sure the 8-ball command is working. So let's see if he connects. Whoa, that's not a good sign. There he goes. Okay, Botman lives. Pimp, you don't need to be sad about it. 8-ball.
Well, it looks blue.
Okay. Well, that's good. And it did the quote one right out of the gate. So it looks like it's totally working. Including being able to respond with a quote. That's pretty cool. Not too shabby. I think that means that Botman can come back now. And then most of the things I can... Like, the only thing that I need to still leave up to Stream Elements is... Follow Age. Moody, it was all a dramatic ploy to get you to watch more advertisements. Thank you, Corey. Good to be back. Botman's working. 8-ball both does, like, proper responses and also quotes. So we should be able to say 8-ball do you love me? Oh, I didn't do it right. 8-ball, do you love me? Only on Tuesdays. Is that the only one we've got? Hello there. Okay, that's good. It seems like it's working. We've got 8-ball.
Ooh. We did not have...
We didn't have a good time, huh?
She never has a good time. She's such a chicken. She's freaking out the whole time. But she did alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like solid 5 out of 10.
Solid, like, C minus.
C minus? That's pretty good. That's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is.
No, I think we should be proud of that.
Yeah.
Hey, bugger.
And then you decided that you needed to squeeze something out of your butt.
Oh, should I pick her up?
You're fine.
Okay.
She's good. She got it all out.
It was just an ad for Honda and then an ad for Papa John's over and over again. But do you feel like buying a pizza card? That's the question.
I'm gonna go, Papa. Can you make it back to him? You're alive. I know. Crazy
Okay, it's...
people.
Does this mean that I'm able to compile
Noises.
botman in this primordial state? When we were a motorbike company, they said we'd never have better ingredients. Oh my god. Oh yes, I'm live now. Thanks, Stream Elements. Yes, we've achieved liveliness. I've never understood what the point of having that come out in the chat is. Like, if I'm live and people are in the chat, they can see that I'm live.
That's what you think.
That's what I do think. I mean, why? It's to welcome viewers. I'm not welcoming. We're turning that off. Okay. So you don't have to pay attention to us. But Moody, I already don't pay attention. I don't need to be assisted in that department. Wait. What happened? Is it because I left it idling? Didn't I just turn it off? Oh. It's because I didn't quit it properly. Kind of like saying, and we're live when a stream starts. It's more of like a tick than anything else. It was just it was running in the background. If you make Botman advanced enough, he can do all the interactions while I do my own thing. That's the idea. That's what I'm going for. Eventually, I can replace myself completely with a robot, and I won't even have to sign on. Okay, so that seems like it works. What I really wanted to do... I don't know if it actually would save any space, but I wanted the say command, or the say file, to be a list dictionary, and then have these be many responses. Botman making that sweet Honda John's bread. Oh yeah. That's the good stuff. So, I want Botman to close all threads when the window gets closed. And it seems like it might not be doing that. Right, because if I do the test launch, and then I connect the Botman, and then I close the window, things seem like they're still running. Like if I say hello, will it still respond? No, but my code will explode. Break when this exception type is user unhandled. So that would seem like if I compiled it that way, it would just shut down, but that's a super shitty way to do that. I need it to kill all of the threads when the window closes, which doesn't seem like a huge thing to ask for. Seems like it should be pretty obvious. So what does that mean? What is those things? I really would like this to have a custom version of the quote call script that adds a better statement here. Like I want to just take this, and we're not actually going to do quote call username. I'm going to paste this in here. Can I use the same random? I can use the same random, right? That shouldn't be a problem. String key. We just need to name this index B. RNG manipulation for your own bot. I needed to say something snarky before it gives you an answer. Like, something like, here, why don't you just accept this as an answer? That's too wordy, though. What about this? I think quote number whatever said it best. Now, I don't know how to force it to do a quote. I guess we kind of just have to hope that happens. But if we just fire off a few 8 balls... I didn't mean to pluralize that. Oh, it worked on the first try. Why is that working on the first try? Have I just gotten really lucky a couple of times? That was a perfect time for that's classified. Well, we should be able to have it use my emotes also. Okay, so then what I want to try and figure out how to do is a basic compile and see if this just runs as a program. Botman seems very confident that he's better than Stream Elements. So if someone chats again, is that still going to cause an error? Or maybe it just happened because he was still in the middle of shutting down? Who knows? I have Fury. I have Chortles. Well, he didn't explode. I don't actually know how to compile this. I've never tried. Thinkrat? Build. Build solution? What's the difference between build solution and build botman 0.1? I don't know what that did. Okay, so here's my question. Do I just take everything in the netcore folder? Like if I just duplicate this folder, will it run independent of everything else? I feel like it should, right? Like, does that mean it's already built? So this is like a real program now. Does it do everything it's supposed to do? It seems like the answer to that is yes. Hello? Quote, are you... Or, I'm sorry, wait. 8-ball, are you real? No. Alright. Well, there's our answer. I guess that's it. I guess it's built. Because it doesn't have the extra gobbledygook on top. Like it's being debugged. It's looking like a real window now. I don't like that it says main window there, but I can fix that. Disconnect. Close. So if I launch it, connect it, and then close it without disconnecting, does that cause my computer a problem if somebody chats? I don't think so. Is it still able to connect again? Yes. And disconnect. Fantastic. I think that's a built application. Unless I'm an idiot. We have all these config files. Do you think I need these? Or do I just need the exe and its working files? We're going to find out. I don't know what any of these do. I'm going to hide the display for a second just on the off chance it shows the stuff that I don't want to show. But let me see what's in here. It seems like it needs that. Okay, we won't do that. Program debug database. I probably shouldn't need that if it's running on its own. What I want to see is if it will rebuild any of that other stuff. So let's make sure that I didn't destroy anything over here. Okay, so that's all there. So let's try, it looks like we need I think that's the depository, something. But that defines something that I don't understand. The DLL it will definitely need. I don't think we need that. Program debug database is probably not necessary. And runtime config. We have a .dev and we have one that's just runtime config. I think we need both of those. Let's find out what happens. We're going to get rid of that one, and that one, and that one, and see if it still runs. So it's because the net core is missing. Shouldn't that be... So that means it didn't package the way it was supposed to. That means I have failed. Alright, because now it'll run. Yes. So let's see. Publish is not what I want to do. I've never actually done this part before. I've played around with code, but I've never tried to, like, package it up into a finished program. Let's check the internet. What do we... What am I trying to say? Visual Studio, that's the word I'm looking for, fuck's sake. So... to build it, this will produce an exe. So it's created as soon as I click. So that is correct then. So I guess you just package it with all of those files. It doesn't seem like there's anything else I need to do. That stuff needs to go with it. So I guess that's it. I guess it works. So what I do want to do, I started to version up here, and I'm going to actually delete this whole folder because I made some changes in there that broke the whole thing, which is why I went back to 0.1. But that's it. That version works. So we'll not touch that again. And then we can poke here at some other things. That is very exciting. That is pretty neat. I mean, obviously it's got a bunch of folders that don't really seem to be necessary. I'd like to add the ability to set the authorization tokens using the window interface. Soon to be Botman 0.2, indeed. Well, and I think we might version up now. I wonder if there's an easy way. Visual Studio version up. Well, not the program itself. Balls. I was hoping that search was going to be a little easier than it turned out to be. It wasn't super hard to do the upgrade the first time. It basically just ended up being like I copied everything into a new folder, and then I went here and I did a blanket rename. So we could just do that again. So I guess the exe does contain all of these, right? Because I moved that. Yeah, so it does still contain all of the scripts inside the exe. It's doing that properly. And then we've got these data folders that it uses. Okay. All right, so that seems to be working. Cool. Very cool. So we'll save that as 0.0, 0.1. And then I'm going to try and version up now. So we will copy all of this. Make a new folder. Call it botman 0.2. We want to paste this in here. I'm hoping it'll let me rename these. Actually, let's try, hold on. I'm going to save this. Oh, there we go. Okay. File. I'm going to open a new solution. And it'll be this one. And that it should be exactly the same, right? Probably including... No. I thought it would save my, like, preferences, like the stuff I had open and everything, but I guess not. We've got the main window. We've got the CS that goes with it. That does have everything, including my newest function, right? Where are we? Should be right around there. There's 8-ball. Okay, perfect. So that is up to date. We want to go here and say rename to 0.2. want this to be... There's one of these that's just a text box label. There we go. Botman, we'll make that say 0.2. And then in the actual class, we need to go to this, rename, why are those split like that? "15 references in 8 files. Apply. Okay. That seems like it's still happy. 0.2 is going to be more NPC-ish. Yes, that is the goal. We've got the baseline botman in 0.1. I'll start running that during the stream, because that works now. And 0.2 is going to be about polishing and making it more NPC-ish. I have a large amount of the data storage figured out. It's the hard part that I still need to work through, which is how it's going to execute all of that. But I tried to figure out the simplest way for it to track enough data to seem like it remembers you, while not creating huge files. But yeah, the idea is to make 0.2 more NPC-ish. And I also want to do a couple of just cosmetic changes, because the window itself, I would like there to be a spot right here to enter the channel information. Everything that's, let me see. Everything that's right here. So we've got credentials. We've got the name for the bot Twitch account, the name for the broadcaster Twitch account. I'm sorry, credentials is the whole dictionary, but we've got the bot name, the broadcaster name, the auth token for the broadcaster's Twitch account, and then I think that's it. Those are all the credentials that we really need. But rather than just pulling it directly from this JSON and having to edit that manually, I would like to be able to edit that from in here, which is not, it shouldn't be super hard. I already have something in my, let's close that. In the file manager, I have, where are we? Value, write dictionary entry. So basically it would be able to replace whatever entries in there, which would default to empty. Right now it defaults to mine, which I don't want. Obviously, if I'm going to put this out for other people to use. After I get probably to version 3, which would be all these NPC things implemented, plus the cosmetic changes that I want, that version will go up on my website for people to use for themselves. And all you need is to make a second Twitch account that you make a moderator and put in your credentials and generate an authorization token, which I'll have a little README file with the instructions for how to do that, at least as of publishing. But it's also, I mean, it's internetable. You can find it. But yeah, I mean, it's the nice thing about this is it kind of has a little bit of a Minecraft-y feel where you can just go in and edit text files to change certain things about how he functions. So like you'd be able to add your own like descriptors and your own responses and things like that pretty easily. I do still want to do the spreadsheet functionality. The question is that something that I would put out for everybody, or is that something I would just do for myself? Because getting it to connect with the spreadsheet is not super user friendly. It's definitely like a dev tool kind of thing. But you can do it. You can connect it with Google Sheets. It's just very messy. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to make a separate class just for managing. We're going to get rid of no self-control altogether for now. This isn't doing anything, and it's just gumming up the visuals of everything I have over here. So we've got... Oh, I need to rename this too. Rename 0.2. Is there anything still calling itself 0.1? 0.2, good. It says 0.2 there. 222. All the way at the top of this, it should say 2, otherwise it wouldn't run. Check the IRC client, 0.2, good, good, good. If we go into this file, go to 0.2, this is all 222, good. At core app. This has all of the 0.1 stuff in it, but I think we can delete all of it. I think it just made new files. So if I delete all of that, we should be able to run it. Oh, no. What were the errors? No self-control does not exist. Where was I referencing it? Oh, here. Right. Now it should boot. And there shouldn't be anything in here that says 0.1. We're all clean. We have successfully fully versioned up. Cool. Alright, so that part's good. We can close this. The last thing I want to check is if I were to make a new class. Would it put the right name on there? See, it still wants to do this, and I don't know why. I'm not happy about that. Especially because it's basing it off of something that's named botman 0.2. I don't know why it does that. Why? Why do you think that is? At this point, I'm pretty confused as to why it would do that. Oh, root namespace. There we are. That'll fix it. So if I close that now, and I try and add a new class. 0.2. Okay. Fully versioned up. Now we can GG. Double GG. Thank you, Corey. Alright. So, let me grab my laptop really quick. I want to check and see when my VR headset's going to be here. I have this cool idea for a program, like a thought, like a thought organization program. That would be a pretty simple thing that I should be able to build in Unity. What I wanted to do was like a mind palace, basically, because that is a proven method to organize your thoughts, but it's hard for people to visualize that actually. So, I wanted to try and like do that in a self-contained program, mainly to help me write, because I think very spatially, so it'd be extremely helpful. Okay. So what I need here should be in my notes. Yeah, I've got this massive data file that's like for event tracking. And this is what I have written down here is designed more around the game, around Everbound, than Botman, and I want to kind of simplify it for Botman to use to kind of test the concept. And the whole thing is based around tracking like interactions, and then as the file storing individual interactions gets overfilled, it will start like degrading the memory and saying like, kind of compiling, I guess is the word I'm looking for, like just flattening those into broader strokes. So like at first it'll remember that it saw this particular NPC at this location at this time, and how it came away from the reaction or from the interaction, whether it was like how it was physically impacted and how it was emotionally impacted, and it would store all of that as a data value, as like a series of integers in a dictionary, which seems like a bad idea, but that's what I'm working with for now. And then say that list of dictionaries gets too full, it's storing too much data, then what it would start to do is generate like averages of those integer values associated with the particular NPC or player, or I wasn't going to do specific mobs, I was going to do types of mobs. So like an NPC could generate a fear of cows if it has had a number of interactions with cows that have caused damage to it. So if it interacts with cows a lot and things go well, then it might start to like cows, because the degrading memory will just, it'll take like, oh, you've had this many incidents with cows, and each time you have an incident with a cow, you leave happy and unharmed. So that's like, that boils down to that data point. And Austin can develop a fear of Zoras because, quote, they all look the same. Exactly. It's a racism simulator. Yeah, you got it just about figured out. God. But yeah, you get the idea. So for recent memory, it has like a detailed list of individual incidents, and then it would boil those down to broad strokes in older memory. And then you combine that with the story generating structure that I wanted to implement into Everbound, and then you have NPCs that have their own goals, have memories of what things they do and do not like, and have basically their goals are motivated or manipulated by the direction of the story. And what I did for that is I have this whole flowchart of what like the basic storytelling rules, essentially, like rising action, falling action, exposition, how long should be spent on each one of those things, and then there's kind of like a generic, not actively involved in a story loop, where the game then keeps trying to push you into a story. And as it looks right now, I think it could be very annoying, but I can't be sure until I test it. But what I basically want to do is have, like, people's goals will automatically be adjusted toward whatever it is you're doing, and try to guide you toward the next correct step in the story arc. So, like, if you've been in an expositional loop for a while, it's going to keep trying to feed you things related to what you're doing. So, like, if you're fishing all the time, then it's going to feed you fishing things. But if you've been in an expositional loop for a while, expository loop for a while, it will start trying to feed you something that will up the ante, that will kind of increase the tension. So maybe, I need to kind of determine how it's going to pick and choose what those things are, but there should be, like, a character that comes in specifically for that conflict. And obviously I can't make it so that you can do everything, but that's kind of what the interest values for the NPCs would be used for. And all of this, it just kind of goes to say, that's why all of this level of detail is why I've backed away from a generated world. Like the tension on the line. Yes. Yes, like the tension on the line. Exactly. But that's the idea here, essentially. And the reason I've backed away from the other game, and the reason I'm not trying to do the generated terrain and all that kind of stuff, is I want to zero this in on this, like, story generation element, because that's kind of what I bring to the table, if there's anything that I bring to the table. So I want to focus on that. And I know in my drunken ramblings yesterday I said that if anybody wants to help me, that's kind of what I would ask for. But what I mean when I say that is, like, I'm going to try and make this story generation functionality work, and then I kind of want to just post it and make it open source and say, hey, if there's anybody who can clean up this code and make it make more sense, I encourage you to do so, and all that kind of thing. But I haven't quite seen anybody try to approach the open world from this perspective, and I feel like it could work. But so our initial tests are with Botman, to see if we can make this chatbot believably interact, like not like a full language model, but more like it feels like it remembers you, which is the base level of what I need for these NPCs. And it's kind of like what was going on with the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War games. But I just didn't feel like they quite came at it from the right angle. Like, that's the first part of it, but then you need that to actually have an impact on the story. Just, it seems like it would be, like, it would feel way more engaging, even if it's just small turns that come out of your interactions with characters. You're kind of out of the loop. Does Botman use a database? I mean, a small one? I don't know. Technically, no. Technically, no, because a database wouldn't be local, would it? I mean, you would know the actual terminology better than I do. I do know that, like, for example, he is tracking user data, but right now that's just a list of who qualifies as a tester. But I am going to increase that. You can have a local database. Okay. So does that literally just mean like it's writing data to a file in order to keep track of things? Because then yes, botman has a database. But it's just a tree of JSON files. Shh. I'm hoping he'll be able to demonstrate this. Lola, you're fine. Don't worry about it, puppy. Okay. Ah. So here's one of my questions. Not sure how it works with actual games, but does it make sense to use an actual database to store user info related to their choices? Yes. I think so. I mean, basically what I want it doing is... what I'm trying to track is like the level of intensity of the interactions that the player is taking part in. So that's... Save file structures have gotten pretty extreme since the days of password systems. Yes. Well, and, I don't know how much I'm really able to get away with here. But I've tried to, like... What I'm trying to do is abstract all of this storytelling stuff that is really very specific and just kind of generalize it into, like, levels of intensity. Botman will remember this. And so the way I'm going to test it in Botman is the language model thing would make it feel much more believable. But like I don't have access to one of those at the moment. But theoretically that wouldn't be the most important thing, right? Any clue if video games use SQL? I mean, I would think probably not, right? Maybe. I don't know. Hold on, let's find out. So, first thing that comes up on Quora, which take Quora with a grain of salt. Well, hey there, Hearted. How's the boss doing? It looks like online games like WoW, so like MMOs, use SQL databases to track player data. Most games don't rely on SQL for anything, says the Game Dev Reddit. It sounds like it'd work, but it'd be super slow. Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm worried about. Is I don't know if there's a way to do this reasonably quickly. It's a lot of data to keep track of. Which is why I'm trying to work on ways to like even just conceptually, not even having done the code yet, I can tell that it's going to be a problem. All right, you do that flex. What's the result? What's the result of your flex? 2 years, 4 months, 12 days, 19 hours. Bravo. But what what does Benz get? 2 years, 10 months, 14 days. The crown goes to Benzagon. 5 months for Corey. It's just, I mean, that's the problem, right? Like, what I'm trying to do here is just a stupid amount of data. It's a lot to keep track of. So here's something about, because this is running in C#, which is, I'm going to build the game in Unity, so I'd be using C#. And it looks like I can create a SQL database using C#. I can't imagine storing things as JSON files is a good idea. You're not smart enough for this? Don't worry, boss. Neither am I. I'm experimenting with something I have almost no experience in to try to make something that nobody has made before. It's the odds of success are low, but that's why it's fun to try. I only have coding experience from Roblox. I mean, that's something. That counts. That gives you points. I took a couple of classes on Python when I was in college and have self-taught everything I know about C#, basically using Python as a jumping off point to understand basic logic. I have not used the well-known coding language Roblox, but I've done Minecraft stuff. JSON files should be good for now, but in the long run, you're going to want something a bit heavier. Yeah. Well, and I don't even know where to go from there. I mean, what do you think is even the next step? Because SQL is kind of notoriously slow, isn't it? I really don't know. Don't cut yourself short. I got this far. Well, thank you. No, I'm pretty happy with what I've figured out so far. I just need to I need to really get my head back around this, which is something, I mean, I've been out of coding for a while. Like I haven't really been doing much with it. So trying to get my head around what would actually need to be done in order to store this data has been a bit of an exercise. You only really know SQL, so you have no clue what else I could use. That's okay, we can figure it out. For real, you don't know what half this stuff is? What we're talking about, so let me like summarize it, boss. It's like we want the characters in the video games to feel like they remember you, and that's a lot of information to try and store, like to remember where it saw people, who it saw, whether or not the interaction was positive or negative, if somebody got physically hurt. All that's, it's a lot of data to keep track of. So what I'm trying to figure out is a way to pare that down to just the littlest bits that are actually necessary in order to kind of trick the player into feeling like the characters remember more than they actually do. And so what we're talking about is different ways to store that data. Right now, I'm storing it in dictionaries that are kept in a file format called JSON. And That's basically just a text file. And there's probably a better system to use, at least, to store all of that text. And Benzagon is talking about SQL, which is a server-based database. So it might work. I did some SQL code for my dad. My dad is a supply chain consultant, and when I was working for him, I did help with some SQL coding for their database. Hey, Jakob, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. You're here at the very tail end. Botman should be back as of next stream. We've got him actually built out into a monster. Smart pants stuff. No. I mean, it's definitely hard. I'm struggling, but I like to struggle. It's fun to struggle. So I think we'll figure it out. I'm pretty confident now. As ADHD as I am, I'm a little more focused these days. Got myself a little more consistent. So I think if I put my head down on this, I can figure something out, and we can at least get the baseline tests with Botman to see what kinds of things we can get him to remember. So what I'm going to end up doing here, and I'm probably going to poke around with it more this evening, is I want to make a separate script for Botman that is using the file manager, which is this thing that I wrote here, that is basically just designed around building and redefining dictionaries in these JSON files, and also lists now. So I'll make a new script that's basically designed to track these interactions and decide what JSON files should get what data. I feel like it's probably better to have... this is something... Sure I'll figure something out, hopefully. Hopefully. But I did want to ask if anybody knows... this has been a short stream, only 1 hour. No. I started at noon today. But the stream died about an hour ago, and I refreshed. So it's been... This is the end of the 5th hour here. Not a programmer, but the last you heard about database programming conversation was about Julia, the language. I don't know anything about Julia. But the one question I do have is, in terms of efficiency, those here who know, do you think it would be better to have the data stored in as few JSON files as possible, or have many different files that are dedicated to specific kinds of data tracking? Like, should I, to say that a little bit better, am I really delayed? I hope not. I've been having major network problems today. Been having huge network problems. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm at 400? My screen says 3848. I've been having major network problems since I lost it earlier today. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Thank you, Leo. Yeah, hopefully we'll be better tomorrow. Or, I mean, Wednesday. But for today, I'm just trying to ride it out with the data connection I have. I don't know what's going on with my network. After it cut out, everything was just, like, way lagged out. Ooh, it says 4:55 on my screen clock that you can see right now. Good lord. That's how far behind we... That's like a full 2 minutes. Well... Well, at any rate. If anybody thinks they have a thought about many JSON files versus fewer JSON files, my guess is longer dictionary entries in fewer JSON files is probably the better way to go. I've been buffering a lot for Leo. Yeah, I'm having a huge network problem today. I don't know what's going on. It's oddly warmer here than it is there. "56 degrees. Is it really that cool here today? Em, how cool was it when you went outside? Hell, it's not even telling me what my bitrate is. It says 4394. That's still pretty low. Yeah, there's a 2-minute delay. It's bad. Again, hopefully we'll be better on Wednesday. I don't think it was this bad before I had my network cut out, and then I just did everything I could to get fired back up as soon as possible. I have not tried turning it off and on again, and I think that would probably help a lot. So I will do that after the stream ends, which is going to be right around now. I'll hang out in the chat just to see what people say for the last 2 minutes of our dilated time experience here. Like, I got that message from Leo twice telling me to clap. I have that 2 separate times. So that's bad. But, okay. I guess we'll call it here. Thank you all for hanging out. It has been a blast, as always. I'll be back on Wednesday, probably doing some sculpting again. I think that's most likely. And then Emily and I will be back on Friday, probably with more Breath of the Wild, because that run has been a lot of fun. So wish me luck with this. I'm going to poke around with it a little bit more this evening and see if I can make Botman remember things. So fingers crossed. If I need some networking help, hit you up. You know a thing or two about networking. I will let you know. I know that the biggest problem is mostly just that our connection sucks ass. Slapping it really hard works in the movies. I'll keep that in mind. I try not to abuse my computer equipment. No clue about the JSON question on efficiency, although I'd probably stray away from them when it gets to that point. Okay. I'll have to do some research. I'll look into it and see what a better way to store that information would be. I just clapped. Oh my god. That's really bad. Okay. I'm going to call it. We're going to shut the stream down. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next time. I'm going to go ahead and turn the screen off, and we'll see you next time.